A drug came along that killed people's cravings for junk food. And instead of accepting it, the $400 billion food industry started engineering new products specifically designed to beat it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is happening right now. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a high-protein snack the same way again.
Ozempic.
Ozempic. Ozempic.
Ozempic.
Before we get into the fight, you need to understand the weapon. Ozempic, and drugs like it, Wegovy and Mounjaro, belong to a class called GLP-1 receptor agonists. They were originally developed for type 2 diabetics to control blood sugar, but researchers noticed something else happening. Patients were losing significant weight and, more importantly, losing their desire for junk food entirely. Here's why. Your body naturally produces a hormone after you eat that signals your brain, "You're full, stop eating." GLP-1 drugs mimic that hormone, but stronger and for longer. They slow digestion, they cut appetite, and they do something doctors didn't fully anticipate. They rewire what you want to eat. People on these drugs have described it as the silencing of food noise. That constant background craving that tells you to reach for another chip, finish the bag, grab a soda with your lunch. One Reddit user described it this way: "Wegovy destroyed my taste buds, and I love it." Ozempic users aren't just eating less, they're eating differently. Snacks they used to love now taste repulsive. They crave salads, whole foods, water with lemon. Now, food historian Amy Bentley calls this the dismantling of the industrial palate, the set of preferences that decades of ultra-processed food have engineered into us, often starting from baby food. Ozempic is essentially a factory reset for your relationship with food. You can imagine how big food feels about that. 7 million Americans are currently on a GLP-1 drug. Morgan Stanley estimates that number reaches 24 million by 2035. That's more than double the entire population of vegetarians and vegans in America combined. The numbers are already hitting the industry hard. Walmart's CEO publicly said customers on GLP-1s were putting less food into their carts. Sales of sweet baked goods and snacks have dropped measurably. One market research firm estimated that food and drink innovation in 2024 hit an all-time low. Fewer new products came to market than ever before. The industry was too busy watching its existing sales erode to launch new ones. Ozempic is costing grocery stores billions. The CEO of Novo Nordisk, the company that makes Ozempic, said that food industry executives had been calling him directly. His quote, "They are scared about it. Scared enough to do something about it? Because here's what big food has always done when something threatens its profits. It doesn't reform. It adapts. It attacked the low-fat movement by engineering fat-free cookies loaded with sugar. It absorbed the diet craze by launching diet frozen entrees packed with sodium and additives. It co-opted the plant-based revolution with ultra-processed meat substitutes that were somehow worse for you than the original. And now, with Ozempic threatening to fundamentally break the addiction loop that the entire industry was built on, it is doing the same thing again. Only this time, the stakes are higher and the methods are darker. Let's break down exactly how the industry is responding, because there are two tracks happening simultaneously, and they could not be more different. Track 1, the fake pivot. Several major companies have launched what they're calling GLP-1 Friendly product lines. Nestlé introduced a brand called Vital Pursuit, frozen pizzas, sandwich melts, and grain bowls marketed specifically to Ozempic users, promising smaller portions and higher protein. Read that again. Nestlé, one of the largest ultra-processed food companies on Earth, is selling frozen pizza to people on weight loss drugs and calling it supportive of their health journey. Other companies are flooding shelves with products labeled high protein or low carb. And here's the detail nobody is putting in the press releases. The majority of these products are still ultra-processed. The protein content is higher. The additives, colorings, artificial sweeteners, and engineered flavor compounds are still in there. As one nutrition expert put it, they're not just selling junk food anymore. How many things do you see in the grocery store aisle that say high protein or low carb, but they're still ultra-processed, and it's engineered to hook you? The healthy packaging is a new coat of paint on the same machine. And it works. Coca-Cola owns a protein shake brand called Fairlife. It is ultra-processed. It contains artificial sweeteners and engineered protein concentrates. And on GLP-1 user forums, communities of Ozempic and Wegovy patients sharing what's working for them, Fairlife is one of the most celebrated products. People on weight loss drugs are buying a Coca-Cola product and feeling good about it. That is a masterclass in rebranding, and it is happening across the entire industry. Track 2, the real fight. Now for the part the industry will never admit publicly. Reports from inside the food science world indicate that multiple major companies are investing heavily in research specifically aimed at developing foods that override Ozempic's appetite-suppressing effects. Not healthier food, food engineered to defeat the drug. Here's what that reportedly looks like in practice. Food scientists are working on hyper-palatable formulations, tweaking the precise ratio of sugar, fat, and artificial flavoring to stimulate the brain's reward system more intensely than current products. If Ozempic turns down the volume on cravings, the goal is to turn the food up louder. They are also exploring faster gastric emptying, ways to engineer food that moves through your stomach quicker, potentially bypassing Ozempic's core mechanism of slowing digestion and prolonging the feeling of fullness. Texture engineering is another front. Food scientists are refining mouthfeel, the way food feels as it breaks down, to make products more irresistible, regardless of appetite level. There's a reason a potato chip dissolves in your mouth within seconds instead of requiring you to chew. That dissolution rate is calculated. It allows you to eat more before your brain registers what's happening, and food scientists are pushing that further. New marketing strategies are also being designed around emotional eating, bypassing the rational decision to eat less and targeting the psychological comfort associations that GLP-1 drugs don't suppress. Stress, boredom, reward. The drug kills hunger. It doesn't kill the habit of reaching for food when you're tired at 9 p.m. The industry knows this. It is positioning products directly into that window. And then there's the surveillance. Food companies are literally following Ozempic users through supermarkets, hiring researchers to shadow GLP-1 patients as they shop, tracking what ends up in their carts, studying what breaks through the appetite suppression. One firm, Matson, a San Francisco food innovation company, has already conducted extensive studies on Ozempic users' changing preferences and is using the data to develop the next generation of products designed to reach them. They are studying the drug's effect on you so they can engineer around it. Think about what that means. A company is paying people to follow patients on medication through grocery stores, observing their behavior without their knowledge, and feeding that data into a lab whose job is to figure out how to get those patients to buy more food. There is no ethical review board for this. There is no regulation that prevents it. It is perfectly legal. To understand why this strategy could succeed, you need to understand something called the bliss point. The bliss point is the precise combination of sugar, salt, and fat at which food becomes maximally pleasurable, and, critically, at which your brain's satiety signals begin to be overridden. Food scientists have been engineering toward this point for decades. It's why you can eat an entire bag of chips without feeling full. It's why fast food tastes better at 11 p.m. when you're tired. It's why certain foods feel almost impossible to eat in moderation. Research from the Scripps Research Institute, published in Nature Neuroscience, found that overconsumption of these engineered foods can create compulsive eating patterns that mirror addiction, including measurable changes in dopamine receptor density in the brain. Now, Ozempic chemically suppresses appetite by mimicking a satiety hormone. But the bliss point doesn't work through hunger, it works through reward. It bypasses your body's fullness signal and goes straight to your brain's pleasure center. This is why researchers are asking the uncomfortable question: if food companies intensify the bliss point engineering, making salt saltier, crunch more exaggerated, aromas more precisely calibrated, could that blunt the effectiveness of GLP-1 drugs entirely? The British Columbia Medical Journal raised this exact concern in a January 2026 editorial. Over the years, salt has become saltier, crunch more exaggerated, and aromas more engineered. If companies intensify these tactics now, they may be able to work around satiety cues that even Ozempic can't fully suppress. We may be heading toward a future where the food is specifically designed to defeat your medication. Step back and look at the full picture of what's happening in 2026, because it is extraordinary. On one side, a pharmaceutical drug that is chemically resetting people's relationship with ultra-processed food, dismantling decades of engineered addiction, and costing the snack industry billions in lost sales. On the other side, a food industry with unlimited R&D budgets, decades of behavioral science expertise, and a documented willingness to prioritize profit over public health. Now redirecting all of that toward defeating the one thing that's actually working. Meanwhile, the government is simultaneously trying to clean up the food supply through the MAHA movement, banning food dyes, pressuring companies to remove artificial additives, overhauling dietary guidelines. So, you have a drug helping people eat less junk food, a government trying to make junk food cleaner, and an industry engineering junk food to be more addictive specifically to defeat both. That's the battlefield in 2026. And it's worth noting who has the most resources. Nestlé's annual revenue, $90 billion. PepsiCo, $91 billion. Kraft Heinz, $26 billion. The entire U.S. food and beverage industry, over $1.5 trillion per year. Novo Nordisk, the company that makes Ozempic, posted $34 billion in revenue in 2024, which was a record year. Against the full weight of the food industry, even that is a mismatch. So what does this mean for you? First, the good news. Ozempic is genuinely working. Obesity prevalence in the U.S. decreased in 2023 for the first time in over a decade, according to a study published in JAMA Health Forum. The drug is giving millions of people something no diet plan ever reliably delivered: a physiological off switch for food addiction. People who spent decades unable to control their intake of engineered junk food are, for the first time, walking past it without a second thought. That is not nothing. That is a genuine shift in public health. Second, the warning. The fact that this drug is working is precisely why what's coming next matters so much. The industry's response to every health intervention in the last 50 years has been to repackage and re-engineer. Fat-free, sugar-free, plant-based, GLP-1 friendly. The label changes, the engineering doesn't. And the engineering is getting better, more targeted, more sophisticated, backed by data from studies on actual Ozempic users that the public will never see. If you are on Ozempic or a similar drug, the single most important thing you can now do is understand that the food appearing on shelves targeted at you is not your ally. High-protein labeling does not mean minimally processed. GLP-1 friendly branding does not mean the bliss point engineering has been removed. Read the ingredient list, not the front of the package. If you can't pronounce half of what's in it, the reformulation was cosmetic. And watch for the emotional marketing. The drug suppresses hunger. It doesn't suppress the habit of reaching for comfort food when you're stressed. The industry knows this. The next wave of advertising aimed at GLP-1 users will not say, "Eat this because you're hungry." It will say, "Eat this because you deserve it, because you've earned it, because it fits your new lifestyle." The manipulation adapts. It always does. And if you're not on the drug, the lesson is the same one this channel always comes back to. The food industry's relationship with your health is transactional, not caring. The moment a new threat to their sales model appears, they adapt, not to protect you, but to protect the revenue stream. What's unfolding in 2026 is the most explicit version of this we've ever seen. A drug arrives that genuinely disrupts food addiction. And instead of meeting that moment with cleaner products and honest reformulation, the industry's first instinct is to send researchers into supermarkets to study patients, fund labs to engineer around the medication, and slap new labels on the same products. Ozempic gave millions of people a window to see their food relationship clearly for the first time. The industry's job, going forward, is to close that window. Your job is to keep it open. Food files. We open the files they don't want you reading. See you in the next one.